In 1994, about 2.5 million households were electrified, and through the electrification program, over 8.3 million households have electricity across the country to date. However, there are still communities that are not catered for, and a majority of those reside in the informal and rural settlements. The South African Local Government Association says due to the high cost of living and the high rates of unemployment in the country, the free basic electricity policy needs to be reviewed. This is to ensure that more people have electricity in their homes.
When government, approved the program of electrification, at that time government understood that there are people in our economy, there's still a lot of socio-economic issues, and there's a large percentage of people that are not working or are not active in the economy. But we promised as government in 1994 that we're going to give people universal access to electricity, so which means that we need to find ways to connect more people and make sure that everyone at least has these basic services.
The Department of Mineral Resources and Energy says the goalpost to ensure that all South Africans have electricity continues to move. This is because the number of households continue to grow, and this has led to a backlog to electrify households to be around 3.1 million.
In terms of our numbers, which are the numbers that as the department we also really need to confirm, we are having a backlog of around 3.1 million, which we have assessed from the department side. In that 3.1 million, over 1.2 million are within the informal settlement part. So this is the challenge that we are really still facing as the department, and we are going to engage municipalities as well as Eskom, so that when they submit their plans, they need to look into those communities that are really not catered, so that at the end of the day, they are supposed to be celebrating with the majority of communities that are now enjoying this electricity in this new democratic South Africa of ours.
Energy expert Chris Yellen says it's no use to make electricity accessible to all if it's not affordable. Yellen echoes the need to review the free basic electricity program.
Access on its own is meaningless if it's not affordable. And so, you can pay and have the best schools, but if people can't afford the fees, and that you have to pay the fees or else you can't go to their school, it doesn't help to have the best schools if it's just not affordable. So one's got to look at access to electricity at the same time as one looks at affordability. And as Chancellor pointed out, the government relief program, poverty relief program called Free Basic Electricity, which is set at 50 kilowatt hours a month, and he pointed out so well, it's inadequate.
Eskom says to ensure that those in the rural areas also get electricity, the power utility has made alternative arrangements.
I think the challenge now that we are faced with is that we now have to reach the far-flung areas where otherwise we wouldn't be able to reach. So it's your far corners in all the rural areas. So now our cost per connection becomes a lot more expensive. It becomes lower because it's difficult to get to those areas because of the topology. But with that said, with the support from the DMRE again, as Eskom, we have started and embarked on rolling out of microgrids, containerized microgrids for those far-flung areas where otherwise you wouldn't be able to get grid electricity there because of losses. Government says it aims to reflect on the freedom that South Africans enjoy since the advent of democracy from 1994 to 2024, with a focus on strides made in electrification of households across the country. Nothando Makutulela, SABC News, Johannesburg.